Hey, shalom, shalom, Israel, Most High Christ bless. Hey, shalom, y'all. We about to read Genesis, 48 through 50. Man, the Most High about to do something serious out here. I'm scared now. Yeah, I'm scared. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. Every time it get like this, man, I be like, hey, the Lord about to judge somebody, and I be praying and hope that it ain't me. Real. The Lord about to judge somebody. Real. I don't know, y'all. All right, hey, look, let's go and set up a prayer before, hey, for real, before the judgment come. All right, y'all, look, today I ain't gonna do a lot of, uh, I ain't answering no questions at all today. I'm just telling you the truth, so don't ask questions. And the reason why, uh, uh, I ended up with Genesis 49. Genesis 49, that's the 12 tribe breakdown. I'm not gonna go full in depth into it. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I'm just gonna go through it in brief. So if you think you got to get a full 12 tribes breakdown from me, hey, it ain't happening. I'm just letting you know it is not happening. You know, it's not happening. So hey, let's go on step. Let's send up these prayers, man, for the Lord bring judgment through. Hey, sisters, make sure your head covered. Brothers, make sure your head uncovered. Let's face the east. Let's send out the prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. All right. Let me get my stuff together. So y'all, we gonna make this thing speedily and swiftly, because we got other classes today. Now, I've been working all day. So, y'all gotta excuse me. Your boy been working all day, and it's hot. Woo! Man, it's hot outside. It is hot. Okay, let me get my stuff together. Let's open up to Genesis. Let me make sure, y'all. I think he said Genesis 48 today. Through Exodus 1. Let me look at it again. Okay, Genesis 48 through Exodus 1. Hey, can everybody hear me loud and clear online? Can you hear me loud and clear? Okay, all praises to the Most High. All right, Genesis chapter 48 and verse 1. So first and foremost, I'm going to tell y'all what we going through. Dealing with Genesis 48, Joseph with his son, they're going to visit his sick father. Jacob going to strengthen Joseph, and he going to bless his children. He going to repeat the promises. He going to take Ephraim and Manasseh as his own. He telling him of his mother's grave. So basically, Joseph gonna tell where he want to be buried at. Uh, he gonna bless Ephraim above Manasseh, and he gonna prophesy, and Jacob gonna prophesy their return to the land of Israel. So that's what we're dealing with in Genesis chapter 48. Now, let's read verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, behold, thy father is sick. And he took with him his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. So now they about to go visit Jacob. And one told Jacob and said, behold, thy son Joseph coming unto thee. And Israel strengthened himself and sat upon the bed. And Jacob said unto Joseph, God Almighty appeared unto me at the Luz in the land of Canaan, and blessed me, and said unto me, behold, I will make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, and I will make of thee a multitude of people, and will give this land to thy seed after thee, for an everlasting possession. And now thy two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born into thee in the land of Egypt, before I came unto thee into Egypt, are mine. As Reuben and Simeon, they should be mine. So Jacob blessed his two sons. Basically, Jacob told Joseph, look, Ephraim and Manasseh, they're going to be mine. And the blessings that came upon Jacob's sons, these blessings going to come upon Ephraim and Manasseh also. Let's read on. And thy issue, which thou begettest after them, shall be thine, and shall be called after the name of their brethren in their inheritance. And as for me, when I came from Padan, Rachel died by me in the land of Canaan, in the way, when yet there was but a little way to come into Ephraim. And I buried her there in the way of Ephraim, and the same in Bethlehem. And Israel beheld Joseph's sons and said, who are these? And Joseph said unto his father, they are my sons, whom God hath given me in this place. And he said, bring them, I pray thee, unto me, and I will bless them. Now the eyes of Israel were dim for age, so that he could not see. And he brought them near unto him, and he kissed them and embraced them. And Israel said unto Joseph, I had not thought to see thy face, and lo, God hath showed me also thy seed. And Joseph brought them out from between his knees, and he bowed himself with his face to the earth. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand, toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand, toward Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. And Israel stretched out his right hand, and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hand wittingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. And he blessed Joseph, and said, God, before whom our fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the God which fed me all my life long unto this day, the angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the last, and let my name be named on them. So now, Joseph's kids have became the children of Israel. All right, let's keep going. And the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. And he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. And Joseph said unto his father, not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. And his father refused, and said, I know it, my son, I know it. He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. And the reason why he said Ephraim was going to become greater than him, because remember, Ephraim was the head of the northern kingdom of Israel. Or should I say, Ephraim is the head of the northern kingdom of Israel. All right, let's read on. Verse 20. And he blessed them that day, saying, in thee shall Israel bless, saying, God maketh thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh. And Israel said unto Joseph, behold, I die, but God shall be with you, and bring you again into the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given to thee one portion above thy brethren, which I took out of the hand of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow. So that's Genesis chapter 48. So what we went over was Joseph with his sons. He went to visit Jacob. Jacob strengthened himself to bless them. He repeated the promises that was made to him uh, by the angel. He taken Ephraim and Manasseh as his own, meaning they became children of Israel. They became children of Israel, and they are partakers of the same promises as the rest of the Jacob's sons. Let me see. He told Joseph where Rachel was buried. He blessed Ephraim and Manasseh. He preferred the younger before the elder, because he remember Ephraim became the head of the northern kingdom, and he prophesied the return back to Israel. Okay, now where we at? Genesis chapter 49. It says, and Jacob called unto his sons. So now in Genesis 49, what we're gonna deal with, Jacob, he gonna bless them, and everybody gonna get a different blessing, and these blessings gonna help determine who the tribes or what they gonna who the tribes and where they was gonna be at in the last days. You know what I'm saying? Then he charged all of them to bury him, and then Jacob died in Genesis 49. Okay, Genesis 49 verse 1. It say, hold on, y'all. I think I might have to block somebody. Let me see something. Look at this. All right, let's go. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you which shall befall you in the last days. Okay, so now remember, these curses right here, this stuff that we read is going to be twofold. It's going, certain things pertain what's going to happen to them in the last days and in latter times from what they was in now. Okay, it say, gather yourselves together and hear ye sons of Israel. I mean, you sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Reuben. Now, Reuben is the so-called Seminole Indians today. So-called Seminole Indians today. Hold on, y'all. Give me a minute. All right, where we at? Okay, so Reuben is the so-called Seminole Indians today. Let's keep going. It say, Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. So basically, when he said you the beginning of my strength, meaning, remember the firstborn is the father's prosperity. The firstborn is the father's posterity, you know what I'm saying? Because usually when you have the firstborn, the blessings go to the firstborn. It's a the excellency of dignity and the excellency of power. Meaning, look, Reuben, they was great warriors. When you deal with the Seminole Indians, there was great warriors. Let's keep going on. Unstable as water. The Seminole Indians, when you read about it, they was nomads also. They was always moving around. The scriptures say they was unstable as water. Okay, let's keep going. It say, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed. Then defoulest thou it, he went up to my couch. So he wasn't going to excel as the firstborn because he slept with one of Jacob's concubines. Let's get that real quick. Let's go to 1 Chronicles 5:1. I'm going to show you what it means when it said he shall not excel. Meaning he wasn't going to excel as the firstborn. Okay, 1 Chronicles 5:1. Now the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, for he was the firstborn, but for as much as he defiled his father's bed, his birthright was given unto the sons of Joseph, the son of Israel. And the genealogy is not to be reckoned after the birthright. So you see what ended up happening? His birthright was given to the sons of Joseph because he defiled his father's bed. So that's what he was saying. That's what it means when he's saying, you shall excel. He wasn't going to excel as the firstborn. All right, let's go. Right back to Genesis 49 in verse 5. Okay, Simeon and Levi. Now, Simeon and Levi is the so-called Dominicans and Haitians. The Simeon is the Dominicans. Levi is the so-called Haitians today. Now look, y'all, we got plenty of sources to back this up. I'm talking about, look, I ain't gonna break out every book. I ain't doing all that. It's 12 tribe breakdowns online. Man, Bishop did an awesome 12 tribes breakdown video probably like 5 years ago. I think that thing about 8 hours long. I'm talking about that Johnny Spectacular. You might want to go to originalroyalty.com and purchase that. All right, what we at? Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitation. So remember, this talking about where they was gonna be at in the same in the last days. It says Simeon and Levi are brethren. I mean, all the 12 tribes of Israel are brother, but these two particular tribes, they was gonna be dwelling together. And when you look at Simeon and Levi, or the Dominicans and the Haitians, what they do, they share the same island, which is Hispaniola. You know what I'm saying? They share the same island. It say instruments of cruelty are in their habitation. They're talking about witchcraft and voodoo. One of them do, I forgot what they call what they do in Dominican, but I know the Haitians do something called voodoo. It say, my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly, my honor be not united. So, because of them being, because of Simeon and Levi practicing voodoo and things like that, the Lord ain't dealing with them. And also, they ain't united. Notice, man, the Dominicans and the Levi, they will not come together. Even after Levi, y'all know Levi helped free Simeon from slavery. You know what I'm saying? Levi helped free Simeon from slavery, and you would think they'll be united on that island over there that they share, and they still mad at each other. The Dominions hate the tribe of Levi. You know what I'm saying? Simeon hate the tribe of Levi over there. But the Lord said, I ain't gonna unite y'all, because why? Them instruments of cruelty. He know what they do when they come together. You know what I'm saying? He know exactly what they gonna do when they come together. So he said, look, I'm not gonna unite them. Let's say, for in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a well. They destroyed a whole city. Cause what if you read the history, what took place is that somebody raped one of them African Hamites, raped their sister, and they told all. Then the dude that raped her came to Jacob, and he wanted to marry her. He said he wanted to marry you. And Jacob was like, okay, I'll give to you the wife. But they were like, hell no, he ain't going to deal with our sister as he deal with a hoe. And they told all the men to get circumcised. And once they got circumcised and they was in pain, they went through and slaughtered every man in the village. So Simeon and Levi don't play, for real. It say, cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. Meaning, when you deal with Levi being scattered in Israel, first and foremost, Levi didn't have a portion of land. They were scattered throughout all tribes. And also, when you deal with Levi when he said, I'm going to scatter them in Israel, the same way Judah was scattered to the four corners of the earth, that's how Levi was scattered to the four corners. Because remember, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi make up the southern kingdom, so they were scattered throughout Israel. So let's read on verse 8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. So Judah is the so-called American blacks. Judah. Hey, Judah is the so-called American blacks. Now it says, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise, meaning all the tribes was going to praise Judah. Why? For bringing out this truth. Even when you look at, when you look at, even to this day, matter of fact, let me just say, Judah was the first one bringing out this truth that we was the nation of Israel. And look at, what I'm saying, even when you see the majority of the teaching that's going online today, the majority of the teaching is Judah. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. The majority of your online teachers, they be Judah. I just got to say it. And look, I know we got some Benjamites and Levites be teaching, but guess what? Y'all of the kingdom of Judah. So it's all Judah. You know what I'm saying? So let's say, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thou hand shall be in the neck of thy enemy. So we was going to be in a position
of our enemy's kingdom, we were going to be at the neck of it. If you look at it, look at Judah and Esau's system right here in America. Judah always right up under them in the neck of them in politics, in the government, different things like that. So they was all Judah always been in a key position where he'll have certain type of powers where he right in the neck of his enemy in his system. It say thy father's children shall bow down before thee. And the reason why, cause Judah the top tribe. It is what it is. I know some of y'all don't like Judah. I know some of y'all just hate the tribe of Judah, but guess what? We the top tribe. And another reason why he said that, go to Zechariah 12:7. I gotta bring this out. All right, y'all, I'm gonna get back to read. This is the hardest chapter. I just can't run through it. Because this where all the questions was gonna come in. So I'm just gonna explain what I know. Okay, this is Zechariah chapter 12, verse 7. The Lord also shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. You see that? So the Lord gonna save the tents of Judah first. Period. Okay, where we at? Hold on. Hey Cap, I'm teaching class, Cap. I'm doing the 4 chapters. I'm teaching class. I'm doing the 4 chapters. Call me back in about an hour. All right. No, it's all good. Shalom. All right. Okay, where we at? Cal said you shouldn't answer the phone. All right, here we go. Verse 9. Genesis 49:9. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. So he said Judah like a young first lion. But from the prey, and the prey is talking about Judah left wisdom. Judah left the Bible. That's what it's going into. It said, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He couched as a lion. Meaning what? Judah, we rebelled. When you look at all the movements that it took place just right here in the U.S., who you see standing up, going against the enemy? Black Panther Party, the Nation of Islam, you know what I'm saying, revolting against the enemies, rebelling against the enemy. Who you see doing that? That's Judah. That's Judah that you see doing that. It say he snooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion, meaning Judah sit up there, they'll get out here, and they'll have powerful movements, and then Judah come with turn into an old lion, he'll become content. You know, it say who shall rouse him up? And we know who's going to rouse Judah up. This Christ. Verse 10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah. This talking about the kingship. Because Christ come from the tribe of Judah. Nor a lawgiver from between his feet. Talking about a priest. Until Shiloh come. Shiloh means peaceable one. And unto him, Christ, or the peaceable one, shall the gathering of the people be. Why? Because Christ come from Judah. 11. Binding his foal unto the vine. This is a prophecy of Christ riding to Jerusalem on a donkey. You can read about that in the book of Matthew. And his ass coat unto the choice vine. He washed his garment in wine and his clothes in the blood of grapes. Now this is going also into a future prophecy where Christ coming back to destroy our enemies. You know what I'm saying? That's Isaiah 63. Who is that coming from Basra with his garments looking like he's been treading the wine press? Yeah, I think it's Isaiah. Yes, yeah, Isaiah 63, verse 12. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. Why? Jesus Christ drunk a lot of wine. He drunk so much wine that people called him a wine bibber, but he never got drunk. Verse 13. Zebulun. Zebulun is the so-called Mayan Indians from Guatemala to Panama. The so-called Mayan Indians from Guatemala to Panama. It says Zebulun shall be a haven of the sea, and he shall be for a haven of ships. When you look at any place on the earth, and you look and see one the most ships, one haven of ships at, that's the Panama Canal, the Panama Canal zone, because they set up there. They built a canal right there in Panama to shorten the trip around the world. So that's why all ships, the majority of all ships, got to come through there and dock. So it say, and his borders shall be unto Zidon. So just like in Israel, they dwelt at the seas. Ancient Israel, they dwelt by the seas, and a lot of times it was going to be the same, nothing different. Okay, verse 14, Issachar. Issachar is the so-called Azteca Indians, or the so-called Mexicans today. It's a Issachar is a strong ass. Talking about he a hard worker, and Issachar is a hard worker. He get it in. It's a strong ass couching down between two burdens. What is the two burdens? North America and Mexico. And why is it a burden? Because look at what Trump doing. Trump trying to build a wall. They passing all the immigration laws. We were just in Atlanta where Issachar, Northern Kingdom, was out there marching because a lot of their kids is caged. A lot of their kids is caged for trying to get across the border. You know what I'm saying? They got these kids literally in cages, and they've been dying in these cages, and they was just marching about that. So they stuck with they couch it down between two burdens. There's North America and Mexico. And he saw rest was good. What is Issachar known for? Siesta. They love it. Well, they love a siesta, for real though. And the land that it was pleasant. And when you look at Mexico, Mexico is a beautiful land. It say, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. Meaning, when you look up the Issachar, I think it means he's for hire or something. I think for hire. And you think about it, they work real low. I'm talking about, look, Judah ain't working for what Issachar worked for, you know what I'm saying? And then Issachar be sitting up there, they be trying to make it seem like they work harder than us. No, y'all just cheaper than us. For real, y'all cheaper than us. The damn labor that a lot of Ishmaelites do is down there like slave labor. And you let me tell it, they do that to compete with Judah. You know what I'm saying? Because if you come into a market and this price is already set, you know what I'm saying, and then you go up under that price, of course everybody gonna hire you, you know what I'm saying? So it ain't nothing but competition, but you know, you became a servant as tribute. And by doing that, that's what they known for now. Nobody don't want to give them what they want. All right, verse 16. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Now Dan, I gotta find this scripture about Dan, because I know somebody gonna ask what happened to. I said I wouldn't answer no question. Somebody said, I know somebody gonna be like, what happened to the tribe of Dan? Let me find the scripture real quick. It's in Amos. I think it's named Amos 9 and 7 or something like that. Now Dan is part of the tribe of Benjamin today. Dan is part of the tribe of Benjamin today. He was absorbed into all the tribes, but the main tribe that he was absorbed into was Benjamin. Okay, now look, I'm telling you, I ain't gonna go deep into this stuff. I ain't gonna explain all this stuff today. I'm just reading the chapter. All right, where we at? Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, and an adder in the path. So Dan was like an ambusher to our enemies. This tribe right here, y'all. And look, Lord, I'm all praise to the Most High that we read in the chapters. Hey, this was a powerful tribe. Dan wasn't no joke, man. Dan was not no joke. This was a powerful tribe. It said, Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path, that biteth the horse heels, so that his rider shall fall backwards. Dan destroyed our enemies. This dude was like an ambusher to the enemies. Dan did not play. And when you think about it now, you know, the tribe of Dan was absorbed into the tribe of Benjamin. That's why Benjamin was so dangerous. It had so many slave revolts. You know what I'm saying? They had Benjamin. They had plenty of slave revolts, and they was successful. You know what I'm saying? They were successful. Let's keep going on. I have waited for thy salvation, O Lord. Gad. Gad is the so-called North American Indians, or the Native American Indians. It's a truth shall overcome him. Now this troop is talking about the U.S. Cavalry led by Andrew Jackson. I think it was the F troop, the S troop. It was one of them troops, but it was the U.S. Cavalry led by Andrew Jackson. You know what I'm saying? It say, but he shall overcome at the last. You know, now like I told y'all, we got plenty references and um, uh, biography and all types of stuff to back this up. I'm just running through it. It's a verse 20. Out of Asher, out of Asher, his bread shall be. Hold on, let me read verse 19 again. Okay. Okay, out of verse 19. Gad, so-called North America Indians, the troops shall overcome you. That's talking about Andrew Jackson, led by the U.S. Cavalry, led by Andrew Jackson. They say, but he shall overcome at the end, meaning these last days, the tribe of Gad gonna rise back up, as you see rising now, and look, he gonna overcome at the last. Out of Asher, Asher is the so-called Inca Indians, the Incan Indians down there that was scouted, that dwell in the places of Colombia all the way to Uruguay. It say, out of Asher, his bread shall be fat, meaning, and when you look at it, they known for resources, meaning they gonna have a lot of resources. And I would go to Deuteronomy 33, but that's what it's talking about. They was gonna have the scripture say he was gonna dip his oil, he was gonna dip his foot in oil, so they was gonna have abundance of natural resources. It say, where we at? Out of Asher, his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. Okay, verse 23. Natali. So this right here is Argentina, your so-called. Let me make sure. Yeah, that's Argentina to Chile. To Chile. So them the so-called. What's the word I'm looking for? In the so-called Indians there in Argentina and Chile. All right, where we at? It's a high let loose, meaning he's like a high let loose. He's a nomad, and he give it goodly words. When you think about, let me Google the name of the capital of Argentina. Give it goodly words. Capital. Got y'all. Hold on, capital. Capital of Argentina means goodly words. Let me see. Let me go. Buenos Aires. Okay. Hey, hell, I can't find it, y'all. Look, hey, let me keep going. I got two more chapters to read. I'm sorry. All right, where we at? Let me see. Verse 22. Joseph is a fruitful bow. So, of course, Joseph, remember, we just read how Joseph's sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, was blessed. They received the blessing. So, it's talking about both of them. Say a fruitful bow, meaning they're going to be a fruitful people. Even a fruitful bow by a well, meaning they're going to have a lot of children. You look at Ephraim and Manasseh, a lot of children. And that's the so-called uh, Puerto Ricans and Cubans today. Puerto Ricans and Cubans. Let's keep going. It's a whose branches run over the wall. Now, when it's talking about branches running over the wall, it's talking about their daughters. Now they had the Spaniards. They had built a big wall to try to keep the Puerto Ricans out. But guess what? The women went over there. They dealt with them. They mixed themselves amongst the people. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you see a lot of them look like Esau today. Not all of them, but a great majority of them look like Esau today because they went over the wall that was built cause the Spaniards were trying to separate themselves from them in Puerto Rico, and they was having all types of interracial. The women was having interracial marriages with them. All right, verse 23. It say the archers have sorely grieved him and shot at him and hated him. This time about the Spanish conquistadors. But his bow adored in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel, even by the God of thy father, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty, who shall bless thee with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that lie under, blessing of the breast and the womb. The blessings of the Father have prevailed above the blessing of my progenitors, unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills. They shall be on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him that was separate from his brethren. So it's just going into the blessings that Ephraim and Manasseh got that we read about in Genesis 48. Verse 27, Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. Benjamin is uh, your so-called Jamaicans. Benjamin is your so-called Jamaicans today. It said they was going to raven as a wolf, meaning communicate loudly like a wolf. When you think about Benjamin, look how Benjamin talk. You know what I'm saying? They get loud. And when they talk, they get loud, and get angry. And you be thinking they about to go to war. You know what I'm saying? It say in the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall devour the spoil. Verse 28. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel. And this is it that their father spake unto them and blessed them. Every one according to his blessing he blessed them. And he charged them and said unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephraim the Hittite, in the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Moriah, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought with the field of Ephraim the Hittite for possession of a burying place. There they buried Abraham and Sarah his wife. There they buried Isaac and Rebekah his wife, and there I buried Leah. The purchase of the field and of the cave that is therein was from the children of Heth. And when Jacob had made an end of commanding his sons, he gathered up his feet into the bed and yielded up the ghost and was gathered unto his people. Okay, so that was Genesis 49. All praises, I made it through that. All right, this is Genesis chapter 50. So Genesis chapter 50, what we're going to deal with, the mourning of for Jacob. Joseph leave of Pharaoh to go bury him. The funeral, Joseph comforted his brethren who craved his pardon, his age. He said the third generation of his sons. He prophesied unto his brethren of their return. He taken an oath of them for his bones. He died and is chested. Okay, Genesis 50 verse 1. And Joseph fell upon his father's face and wept upon him and kissed him. And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father. And the physicians embalmed Israel. And 40 days were fulfilled for him. For so are fulfilled the days of those which are embalmed. And the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days. And when the days of his mourning were past, Joseph spake unto the house of Pharaoh, saying, If now I have found grace in your eyes, speak, I pray you, in the ears of Pharaoh, saying, My father made me swear, saying, Lo, I die. In my grave which I have digged for me in the land of Canaan, there shall thou bury me. Now therefore let me go up, I pray thee, and bury my father, and I will come again. And Pharaoh said, Go up and bury thy father according as he have made thee. And Joseph went up to bury his father. And with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt, and all the house of Joseph and his brethren, and his father's house. Only their little ones and their flocks and their herds they left in the land of Goshen. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great company. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond Jordan. And there they mourned with a great and very sore lamentation. And he made a mourning for his father 7 days. And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning in the floor of the Tyre, they said, this is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians. So right here, y'all, if you look at verse 7, all the way down to verse 11, remember, it was Joseph, his brethren, and Pharaoh, the servants of Pharaoh, and the elders of the land of Egypt all together. But they compared the Israelites as looking like the Egyptians. They call everybody Egyptians, proving what? That the Egyptians are black and the Israelites are black. Because when you look up the word Ham, when you look up the word Ham in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, it say the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes. You know what I'm saying? So Ham was always known to be a dark race of people. Now you got them so-called Ottoman Turks over there. Them are not the true Egyptians in the land. The Egyptians and the Israelites always was compared as looking alike. Verse 11. And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning in the floor of Tyre, they said, this is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians. So all the Hebrews, all the Israelites was described as looking like Egyptians right here. Wherefore the name of it was called Abel Mizraim, which is beyond Jordan. And that means mourning of the Egyptians. Abel Mizraim means born, Abel Mizraim means beyond Jordan. Mourning of the Egyptians. Verse 12. And his sons did unto him according as he commanded them. For his sons carried him into the land of Canaan, and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah, which Abraham bought with the field for a possession of a burying place, or Ephraim the Hittite before Mamre. And Joseph returned into Egypt, he and his brethren, and all that went up with him, buried his father, after he had buried his father. And when Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said, Joseph will peradventure hate us, and will certainly requite us all the evil which we did unto him. Because remember what happened. Hold on, y'all. Let me make sure my our name plugged up. Y'all remember what ended up happening. They sold Joseph as slaves to the Egyptians. You know what I'm saying? So I know y'all remember, y'all read that a couple of probably a few chapters back, but they sold him as a slave to the Egyptians. So now they're thinking that after Jacob has died, that Joseph is going to try to pay him back. Verse 16. And they sent the messenger unto Joseph, saying, thy father did command before he died, saying, so shall ye say unto Joseph, forgive, I pray thee now, the trespass of thy brethren and their sin, for they did unto thee evil. And now we pray thee, forgive the trespass of the servants of the God thy father. And Joseph wept when they spake unto him. And his brethren also went and fell down before his face. And they said, behold, we be thy servants. And Joseph said unto them, fear not, for I am in the place of God. But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass as it is this day, to save much people alike. Now therefore fear ye not, I will nourish you and your little ones. And he comforted them and spake kindly to them. So he forgave his brethren. So look, I'm telling you, like, hey, to help him forgive this, for what his brothers did to him, he had a real forgiving spirit, man. And what this teaches us right here, we need to always be forgiving. Because sometimes people do evil things to you, but God meant that to be good for you. You know what I'm saying? Even though they thought evil against you, it'll turn out good for you. So always have that forgiving spirit, you know what I'm saying, when people do certain things. Verse 22. And Joseph dwelt in Egypt, he and his father's house. And Joseph lived 110 years. And Joseph saw Ephraim's children of the third generation. The children also of Machir, the son of Manasseh, were brought up upon Joseph's knees. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I die, and God will surely visit you and bring you out of this land. unto the land which he swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. And Joseph took an oath of the children of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones from hence. So Joseph died, being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt. Now look, one thing you'll never hear them Egyptologists talk about. You don't look, they don't know what the damn missing mummy at. It's one tomb of a famous man. I already know who it is. I already did my research, my studies. It's Joseph. They cannot find his mummy nowhere. You know why you can't find his mummy? The Bible tell you where the mummy is. But see, they don't believe in the Bible. So now, of course, excuse me, they got their own little stories and stuff like that, what they want to say happened to the mummy. No, I'm going to tell you what happened to the mummy. In Exodus chapter 13, when we fled out of land in Egypt, they took Joseph's mummy with them. They took his bones. They took it with them. Because he said, look, do that thing when we leave. All right, y'all, Exodus chapter 1. It's a short chapter. I'm going to run through it. In Exodus 1, what we're going to deal with, the children of Israel after Joseph's death do multiply. So look, we didn't do abortion. We had those babies. We didn't do abortion. The more they are oppressed by a new king, talking about a new kingdom, the more they multiply. The godliness of the midwives in saving the men, children alive, and Pharaoh commanded the male children to be cast into the river. So that's what you're dealing with in Exodus chapter 1. Okay, where we at? Exodus 1 and 1. Now these are the names of the children of Israel, which came unto Egypt. Every man in his house, came with Jacob. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, but Joseph was in Egypt already. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all their generation. And the children of Israel were fruitful, and increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. Now there rose up a new king over Egypt. Now this is talking about a new kingdom. This is going into the 18th dynasty. I think it's the 18th dynasty. Yeah, it's the 18th dynasty. It's going into the 18th dynasty. That's what it's going into. So it just wasn't one king. It was kingdoms. It was different kings, but this was a kingdom. This was a dynasty that arose. It said, now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph, a kingdom. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when they're falling out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us. And so get them up out of the land. Therefore did they set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burnings. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses, talking about the Valley of the Kings. We built those cities up for them. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. And look, if you think about it, man, look, it's the same thing going on today in America. How is they dealing wisely with us now? They're dealing wisely with us with this LGBTQ movement. And I'm just going to flat out the Black Lives Matter movement. That's LGBTQ. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. That's a lesbian movement. They're dealing wisely with us with that. Another way they're dealing wisely with us is Project Parenthood. Another way they dealing wisely with us is the industrial prison complex. You know what I'm saying? So, they almost got us hook, line, to sink. But hey, they didn't count on Christ. You know what I'm saying? Returning and restoring us and giving us our nationality back and us coming back to the commandments of God. So look where we at. It say verse 13. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage and mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew wives, of which the name of one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared God, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved men, but saved the men children alive. Now look, I do gotta digress for a minute. Look, that name Shiphrah and the name Puah, if you'd have had abortion in your lifetime, sisters, please don't choose this name. I know, don't get mad at me, I just gotta say it. If you have had any abortion in your lifetime, don't choose those names. That's all I gotta say. Because that spirit right there of these sisters don't fit you. Alright, where we at? You repented all praises, but still don't choose that name. Alright, where we at? And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, why have ye done this thing, and have saved the men children alive? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptians women, for they are lively, and are delivered the midwives come unto them. You see that? Hey man, our sisters is not like them damn Africans. It is what it is. Our sisters are not like them damn Africans. But now, guess what y'all act like? Y'all acting like Hamites. It is what it is. Where we at? Therefore God dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared God, that he made them houses. And so God blessed them. He blessed them sisters. And Pharaoh charged all of his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive. Alright, y'all, with that, I ain't answering no questions. It is what it is. After I broke down Genesis 49, no, that should be, I shouldn't even have to answer no questions. Excuse me. After breaking down Genesis 49, I shouldn't even have to answer no questions, man. It is what it is. Alright, y'all. I don't know what the time the next class coming on, but I pray and hope that you brothers and sisters got some understanding out of today's lesson. With that, I'm gonna wrap it up, y'all. Nah, ain't nothing got it to be what I do. Nah, I ain't answering no questions today. Nope. I broke down Genesis 49. You don't answer questions after after going through Genesis 49. You were supposed to answer questions. I did it to the best of my ability. Yeah, after Genesis 49, you don't do questions. And actually, all them chapters was easy chapters. You shouldn't even have it. I mean, that was a simple read. It wasn't nothing deep in that except for Genesis 49. And since we don't, I don't got all the resources, I'm not answering no questions dealing with Genesis 49 today, because that's a lot of books. That's a lot of read you got to do. But Genesis 48, 50, and Exodus 1, come on, man. That's a simple read right there, y'all. You shouldn't even really have no questions. With Genesis 49, I understand. I can't answer the questions because I don't got all the resources here with me today. I mean, not resources, I mean sources. I don't got all the sources with me here today to answer them. Answer the question, so I'm not doing it. Alright, y'all, with that I'm gonna say shalom, most high Christ bless. I want to give double honors to the bishop, Elder Nathaniel. I want to give honors to our deacons and our captains, our officers. Hey, look, all you brothers and sisters that's pushing this truth, and y'all stay focused. Shalom, most high Christ bless. Stay in the spirit. And Lord's willing, I think they're coming with Exodus 2 through 6 tomorrow. So y'all tune back in tomorrow about the same time. With that, I'm out, y'all. Shalom.